Good day, everybody. These are your photosynthesis notes. Photosynthesis is a topic that you have learned about in elementary school. I'm here to refresh your memory, but also to bring a few other things to thought. So let's begin. Be ready to write in as you follow and watch along. Every living thing needs and uses energy. Plants use the radiant, also known as electromagnetic. In 6th grade in Texas, you learned about the different forms of energy, and radiant was the energy that travels in waves. So microwaves, light waves, sound waves. So radiant energy from the sun to make their own food, which provides energy for them to function. Plants use the radiant energy from the sun to make their own food, which provides energy for them to function. Because they're autotrophs, they cannot make their own energy. They cannot get energy by consuming another organism. So they must make their own energy. So photosynthesis is a big word, but if in science, a lot of our big words we can break out into smaller meanings. So just as a reminder, I've talked about it before in my classes, but you may not remember. But photo means light, like phototropism. We talked about that earlier in the year, that plants respond to light. Synthesis means to combine or put together. So photosynthesis means using light to make food. It is an example of an energy conversion, conversion. An energy conversion. This right here is what you do have to be able to identify, explain, describe in 7th grade with photosynthesis, is that the energy conversion taking place is radiant energy from the sun is converted to chemical energy. Remember from prior years, the law states that energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It's always just changing its form. So in photosynthesis, it receives the energy as radiant, but then gets stored in the plant as chemical energy until it uses it for another form of energy. So I'm going to highlight, and I suggest you do that too. Let's highlight that sentence because it is the essential sentence of what you need to know for 7th grade. Also, I want you to be able to see these symbols and numbers and identify that as the photosynthesis equation. So let me write that in over here. I think I'm going to put it at the top of the box. Photosynthesis equation. EQUATION. You may see all these symbols and numbers and think, I have no idea what that means, what it's saying, but you do. You can be able to identify this part. It's going to be easy, I promise. Okay, so let's write in what this says in words. Plants need the sun, water, and carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. So the reactants are what are reacting to create the product. The reactants are the things over here on this side of the arrow. You can read it because I think all of you know what H2O is. That's water. CO2, most of you know what CO2 is. You know it as carbon dioxide. The products, think about the product of a multiplication problem. The products are the answers, like what becomes of the reactants, and that's on this side. Okay, the products are glucose, which is the name of the particular type of sugar that is made for the plant. And what's also made is oxygen. So look at the products on the right side of the arrow. C6H12O6, that is the chemical formula for glucose. If you see that O, it means oxygen. You in 7th grade do not have to worry about these numbers. You learned some things about the elements in 6th grade. But most of you know that H2O is water, CO2 is carbon dioxide. A chemical reaction occurs, which creates glucose, which is a type of sugar, and oxygen. The reactants on the left side, products on the right side. All right, moving on. Water and carbon dioxide are taken in by the plant. Carbon dioxide are taken in by the plant. Then molecules of both are broken apart chemically. And then rearranged to produce glucose and give off, which gas do they give off? Oxygen. It's what we need. There are two main stages of photosynthesis. First stage, capturing of sun's radiant energy. Stage 2 is producing glucose. Stage 1, the capturing of the sun's radiant energy occurs in the leaves and other green parts of the plant. Chlorophyll is found in plant structures. Called chloroplasts. I'm going to highlight that. Chlorophyll is found in plant structures called chloroplasts, which you know are part of plant cells from yesterday's notes. Chlorophyll, CHLOROPHYLL, is why plants appear green. Chlorophyll is why plants appear green. Besides the sun, water and carbon dioxide are the materials needed for stage 1. They are the materials needed for stage 1. So another way to describe what's going on in photosynthesis is by flow map box, these flow maps. So let's fill in the flow map boxes. What's going to happen is water is absorbed. Well, what is going to absorb water in a plant? Water is absorbed by the roots. So we're just going to put roots up to the leaves. Okay, so water gets into the plant by the roots, goes up to the leaves. CO2. And there's the little 2 down there. Carbon dioxide. So we just did the little formula for it. CO2. That's a big C and a big O and a little 2. Enters the plant through stomata, which stomata are the openings on the underside. You can put bottom of leaves if you want, underside of leaves. So with a microscope, you would be able to see all the little tiny openings on the bottoms of leaves. They're called stomata. I don't know why, but I have to say it with an Italian accent. I don't know why. Stomata. You can practice it too. Okay. Third box. Water, carbon dioxide, move to chloroplasts. and undergo chemical reactions. Just wanted to let you know that this is chemically reacting, not physical. Next box, oxygen is released and glucose is stored. Oh, whoops. Sorry guys, I didn't even follow my own arrows. Okay, so after, right here, see the arrow goes down? Sorry. Water, carbon dioxide moves to chloroplast and undergoes chemical reactions. These chemical reactions result in productions of oxygen. And we have the C6H12O6. That stands for glucose. Glucose. Finally, the last box. Oxygen is released because that is what we need for breathing, and glucose is stored so the plant can have energy. Glucose is stored. Okay, that's our flow map of photosynthesis. Next thing is we have a picture of photosynthesis. It says state the energy conversion for plants to receive their energy. All right, so it's just a quick, it's showing you right here, we had the light energy going into the plant, and it has where the water's coming in, oxygen, carbon dioxide, it has everything in that picture. So let's do a quick little state the energy conversion. It's radiant from the sun, radiant energy, and then draw your arrow because that's showing it's changing over to another energy. To being stored in the plant for energy is chemical. Stored as chemical. Radiant to chemical. Circle on the picture where the energy begins and where it is stored. Where the energy begins is right here, the light energy from the sun. Where it is stored is in the leaves, glucose. Just so you know, this is a little bit of side information, but in order for a plant to use the stored glucose, it has to break it down to small molecules. And just so you know, this is called respiration. There's another type of respiration we talk about with breathing, but this is has to do with breaking down glucose to smaller molecules for the plant to use. Plants use the broken down glucose and convert some of it into mechanical or thermal energy. So mechanical would be like for its growing, and thermal for its heat. For growing, let's write that in. Reproducing and other life functions. So remember, energy is always changing its form. After making, plants also store unused glucose as food. So they're going to use some of their glucose for heat and growing and reproducing and other life functions, but any unused glucose is stored as their food. So after making glucose, how does the plant transport it in water throughout the plant to distribute to all its cells? How does it get to where it needs to go inside the plant? So let's talk a little bit about these plant structures. Plants generally have three main structures, and you're familiar with all of them. Roots, stems, and what's the other one? Leaves. Three main structures, roots, stems, and leaves. All three plant structures have a vascular system. Vascular is spelled V-A-S-C-U-L-A-R. A vascular system, which are vessels within the organism that transport nutrients. They have vascular system, which are vessels within the organism that transport nutrients. It's like the arteries and veins inside us or other animals. That's how things get transported through other animals and through us. But plants have a vascular system. The two vascular tubes for carrying materials are called xylem and phloem. So let's write about the xylem first. The xylem, which is XYLEM, the xylem carries water and minerals up from the roots to the leaves. So it's able to go from the bottom to the top, to carrying water up. That's the xylem, carries water. The phloem, this time it's spelled PHLOEM. The phloem carries sugar, meaning the glucose, from the leaves, because that's where it's made, down to the stem and roots in the form of sap. So the xylem and the phloem. Xylem carries water, phloem carries sugar. The pictures I put on here are there to show you what the xylem and the phloem are doing. And then I like this picture at the bottom because it reminds you what's going up, what's going down, what's carrying. The xylem is carrying water up. The phloem is carrying the glucose and the sugar down to other parts of the plant. Okay, these are your photosynthesis notes. Please make sure they're completed and be studying them. Put them in your ISN for future use. Thank you.